arcade heroes.
Back in the year 2006, Sega took a big risk with a unique concept that combined the idea of Street Fighter with a light gun game. Now, how this worked out was you had arenas where you would have two combatants hiding behind cover and being able to move in a line from one piece of cover to the other and destroy the cover of their opponent by shooting at it. And this game is called 2Spicy. Now, unfortunately, this game bombed. It's very obscure. Not a lot of people know about it because, well, it required a tutorial. It was so radically different that it just did not show up in a lot of places. The only place I've ever seen it at was the GameWorks in Las Vegas. But that doesn't mean that it's been completely ignored, however, as we see here at IAPA 2019 with this game called Super Firing. Now, I stumbled across this by pure chance. I was just walking the show floor and this video game that looked really sharp caught my eye, and I quickly noticed that it looked just like 2Spicy. As you can see here, it has two foot pedals, one for left movement, one for right. And it also has a pistol that, well, it's been a long time since I've seen the 2Spicy gun, but I think the 2Spicy guns were metal, not plastic, like that one, but that's okay. And as you can see from the instructions here, it also works a lot like 2Spicy did. And so, to find a game that was influenced directly by Sega's 2Spicy, that's a very unexpected surprise to come across at any time. As again, usually obscure games don't spawn clones, but once in a while they might. And so that's the case with Super Firing. Now, the company that made this is called Luck Amusements. They're based out of China. I did talk with one of the people at the booth a little bit. He was able to provide some information as to what they were aiming to do here, and that's just provide a unique piece of entertainment for arcades. Now, I don't know how common this is in China. It's certainly uncommon, if not non-existent in the United States. But as you can see here, if you are familiar with 2Spicy, this follows the formula pretty perfectly, as you have an arena and you're able to move left or right by using the foot pedals. Now, if you stop and you don't shoot, you'll take cover. I didn't do that as I filmed there, as I decided to just do the keep hitting them until they're down strategy, which seemed to work out okay for me, except for here I got a B instead of an A. I'm not sure if you can get an S or not, but hey, winner winner chicken dinner. That's what I earned there according to the game. Now, you have multiple characters to choose from. There's multiple arenas or stages that you fight in. They have a lot of cover in them. There's a lot more detail to this, a lot more cover, a lot more explosive action than I recall 2Spicy having. The opponent did seem to be the same thing, or they had this special ability where they constantly launched drones at you. I guess it's less of a thing in this particular level. But one of the most impressive things about this, other than the fact that it's doing something innovative and different based on a pretty obscure game, is that the graphics on this are really well done. The fidelity on them is pretty high. The textures are very sharp. It seems to be using HDR lighting. The explosions are pretty good. Now, I don't know, maybe they're using some sort of existing library of assets. That's certainly possible, but however they did it, they pulled off a pretty good game, especially for a company that I've never heard of before that had a pretty small booth. What they have in this package was very impressive to come across. And another game developer that I talked to that also had come across the game said the same thing. He's like, I want to know what type of graphics card they have running in there, because that thing is not some cheap PC that they threw together. Now, this can link two units together. They only had this one here, but they did have a banner right next to it that showed two units linking, so that in that regard it works exactly like 2Spicy. I was not able to find out exactly how much this costs or importing it. I mean, it has to come from China, so there is that challenge there. So I highly doubt that we'll see many of these in the States, but would be cool as long as the thing is reliable. I guess that's also the other question that's up in the air. But still, kudos to Luck Amusements for bringing this out, for developing this and bringing it over here through IAPA. It was a fun game. I enjoyed it when I played. I didn't really come across any bugs. I mean, sure, it could probably use a little bit more of a storyline, but after a moment I got the hang of it and I wanted to keep on playing. Unfortunately, I just wasn't able to come back for more later on, and apologies about the reflections from the crane machines in the background from this angle. I didn't notice that while I was playing, only when I was editing the video here. So hopefully they come back with this next time. Hopefully you come back to watch our next video. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.